What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it is time to review JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond Does Unbreakable, Episode 8, and also give my thoughts on Episode 7, which I missed last week. Also, there's some gardening going on outside, so I hope that doesn't distract you too much. I'm pretty sure it's over, actually, but just in case, let you know there might be some background noise. Okay, so I'll start off with Episode 7, not like a full review, but I'm just going to give my thoughts on it. Number 1, the villain, what was his name, Hazimata or whatever, I don't give a fuck. First off, did not look like that in the manga. He does look like that later, because Araki just decided for that dude and for the dude that Koichi went up against with the lock stand, he was like, yeah, you know, I'm just going to make these guys tiny now. Araki wills it, so he made them tiny, and the anime was like, well, let's just start them off that way instead, so it makes more sense. So that's fine. But this little fucker, though. Not originally a little fucker, but currently a little fucker. This little fucker is one of those dudes you read about in like a fucking school shooting. Like, this dude's personality, you could just see this guy writing his fucking manifesto about how the girls didn't like him and shit. Like, he was a psycho. But instead of shooting up the school, he went with the pen is mightier than the sword / gun argument, and he was like, I'm gonna kill people with pens because fuck it. So that's pretty much what he does. Though I will say, I don't know how he killed the best friend at the beginning. Like, yeah, that guy was like reading a magazine or whatever. Like, how was he like looking at himself, like looking at Surface to where he could mimic the fucking pen stabbing and everything? It just, I don't see how that works. But whatever, it was just the very beginning of the episode. It was just to sort of establish like a hint of what the stand could do. But yeah, being able to just step in someone's line of sight and just control them and look just like them is really, really overpowered in hacks. Though the screw in his forehead right here is just kind of like, really? Like, even Koichi says, like, oh, I can't even see, I couldn't tell the difference. It was scary. Like, you couldn't tell the difference when he has a fucking screw right here. Like, that makes no sense to me, and they don't address that the screw is there. I'm assuming it's there so the audience reading the manga knows who's who. You know, which one's Josuke and which one's the fake, but still, like, I feel like you could have just had them get into, like, a scuffle and, like, knock the peace sign off of Josuke's outfit or something. And then, you know, when he goes... Because if he walks up to Jotaro, I feel like Jotaro's intelligent enough to where if he turned around, he'd be like, oh, hey, Josuke, wait, what the fuck's that screw in your head for? Like, what the... That's weird. He would notice it. I feel like Jotaro's smart enough to notice something like that. You know, if you knock off the peace sign on his uniform and he walks up to Jotaro, Jotaro's probably just be like, oh, hey, Josuke. I don't think he's going to be like, wait a minute, you don't have a... Well, actually, then again, it is Jotaro. He is very much someone who pays attention to the details, and he would see the fucking peace sign missing and be like, what the fuck's going on, Josuke? Or Jotaro, or Josuke, fuck. Got their names mixed up twice. But joking aside, the stand user was okay. It was interesting seeing his stand be sentient. That was kind of cool. And the animation was good and all that. So it was an enjoyable episode. I liked it. Yeah, not really much else to say about episode 7, but wait, what? No. No. Okay, so episode 8. Bitches be crazy. That's pretty much the moral code of this episode, and Koichi learns it the hard way. We get another Koichi arc, and yeah, this bitch. Her name, I'm forgetting her name completely right now. I know it starts with a Y, but I'm forgetting her name. She looks good on the surface, you know. I mean, it's kind of weird for me to say that because she's a high schooler and I'm like an adult, but fuck it. She looks good on the surface. She seems nice and all that. Shy, kind of self-doubting, but then she goes full-blown yandere. I want to say probably the original yandere. Yanderes are the psycho ones, right? I only know tsundere for sure because you see those a lot in like different animes, but yandere I'm pretty sure is like the psycho, obsessive girlfriend or the one who loves you but is a total psycho about it and will kill people and shit, which she does, whatever her name is. She does try to light a bitch's hair on fire with her own hair. You can't say that shit without it being ridiculous. Like, this whole episode was kind of funny in a dark way when you see her facial expressions and the dark shadowing on her and everything. And she, like, poses and shit. It's very funny in sort of a not funny kind of way. It's kind of, like, ironically funny. I don't know what the fuck... I don't know how to describe it, but it was enjoyable regardless, and overall the animation in this episode, it wasn't particularly great. It was just kind of a lot of talking, of walking around. Most of the animation budget went to her hair flowing, which looked good, and it should, because it's her stand. I forget what it's called. She'll probably say what her stand name is later, but I mean, knowing the stand name is not that big of a deal. I want to say like Love Plus or Love Deluxe or something like that. I'm probably wrong. I feel like it's something like that, but I might be wrong. It might be a different stand user I'm thinking of, or I could have just pulled that out of my ass. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about her. She's just crazy and a total psycho. But in terms of the actual plot, Koichi's like, alright, I don't like this chick. I'm going to tell her, nah, this ain't going to work. And Josuke's like, whoa, 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 bruh. She lit a bitch's hair on fire with her hair. Maybe handle this a little bit more delicately. And, yeah, they're basically coming up with ways to, like, make him seem unappealing, and they're like, maybe you should just not bathe or whatever, and he doesn't want to do that, so they're like, alright, well, let's just spread a bunch of rumors. So they spread the rumors, and she basically takes that as, well, if he's not perfect, I'm gonna make this little kid perfect. Well, he's not a little kid, but fuck it. I'm gonna make him perfect. So she kidnaps him. Totally a reasonable thing to do. And she takes him to some other guy's summer home, where no one's gonna be there till summer. And she basically says, you're going to answer these questions like a fucking quiz show from hell, and if you get it wrong, you eat what's inside. And what's inside could be like vocabulary word cornflakes, which was, you can't fucking say that out loud without like fucking at least cracking a smile. Like, it's absurd. Or an eraser. And it's just like, Koichi's just like, fuck this bitch. He's like, what did he say? Like, okay, there's one thing I know for sure. This bitch is fucking extremely strange. You know, he was funny just in how, like, fucking so done with the situation he was. Yeah, it was just an absurd, really bizarre, yeah, pardon the pun, but it was a really bizarre episode, but that's what made it so enjoyable and funny. But yeah, I really liked it. I'm going to probably give this episode a solid 8 out of 10. I thought it was a very good episode. It sets up for what will probably be a 2-parter, maybe 3, but I'm thinking 2, but I'm not too sure how they're going to handle it. But yeah, I'm thinking it probably a 2-parter, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, overall the pacing was solid. Like I said, the art was good. Animation didn't need to be anything special. It was okay. Her hair looked good when it needed to look good. There was some color palette swapping here and there, some stylistic choices that were pretty good. And yeah, overall it was an enjoyable episode. That's pretty much all I have to say about this one. I was trying to think. Also, oh yeah, one other important little tidbit at the beginning was when the Hazimata dude, the little fucking Columbine fucker, was in the hospital, and he told Josuke and Jotaro that stand users are just sort of, like, unknowingly drawn to each other. Like, they just sort of meet up because they're stand users, which we've never heard of before, of course. And it's very convenient to get the plot moving for that to be a thing, but, you know, at least in part 3, there's no, like, contradiction. It's just kind of Dio sent stand users after them, so that's why there were stand users. There's no real contradiction, it's just kind of convenient, but whatever, it works for the plot. I feel like the fact that it's just a small town could play a part. I mean, I don't think you really need it to be like, oh yeah, stand users are unknowingly drawn together. Or it's a small town and that's why they keep running into each other, but whatever. I guess that's a coincidence too, but still. But nitpicking aside, not a big deal at all. It was an interesting little tidbit that added to the lore of stands, I suppose. But yeah, with all that being said, also I like that they didn't fan service the shit out of her, whatever her name is. They really could have exploited that, and they didn't, so that was kind of cool. You know, I mean, I'm not saying like they were gonna do like panty shots or nothing, but they really could have like had her sit down at a desk and like cross her legs, or, you know, to do all kinds of tricky camera angles and shit, and they kind of do, but they really don't, so that's kind of refreshing, because, you know, obviously in part 3 we did get some ass shots of fucking, oh, what was her name? Shit, whatever, the magnetism chick. So yeah, but, so that was a nice little thing to not do. I mean, fan service is whatever, I can ignore it, it's just cool when a series doesn't rely on it, or add it in when it wasn't there in the manga, because I don't think she had any in the manga, really, so... But, you know, but I'm not going to ramble on too much longer. Overall, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. But yeah, so with all that being said, I mean, you could just say, obviously, they weren't going to exploit the fan service because she's in high school, but what a joke. This is fucking Japan we're talking about. But yeah, I just wanted to add in that little joke right there. But I'm done with the review. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a very good episode, at least in terms of enjoyment. And speaking objectively, it was probably like just a solid good, okay to good episode. But yeah, it was very entertaining, at least for me. So with all that being said, what did you guys think of episodes 7 and 8? You guys can tell me in the comments section below. You can also follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. Give this video a thumbs up, share it on social media. Both those will help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already or if you like what you've seen here. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.